In this video, let's take a look at this concept of tailing the hedge. Let's begin by defining it first. Tailing the hedge is all about a reduction in the quantity of a hedge in order to accommodate for the impact of the daily settlement feature of futures contracts. So we know that what makes futures different from forwards in a very notable aspect is this daily settlement feature. And what we are trying to do in this concept of tailing the hedge is that we are trying to figure out how much impact does this daily settlement feature have in terms of determining the quantity of futures required as a hedge. I mean the number of contracts required of these futures as a hedge. To begin with, let's place ourselves in the shoes of a hedger. Let me assume that this hedger has an existing core exposure towards, let's say, some underlying asset. This core exposure, let's say, is to the tune of Q units of this asset. Each one of them, let's say, is valued as of today at a price S. Now, what this hedger wants to do is that he wants to overlay on top of his existing position a hedge position. This hedge position will be in futures contracts. Okay, he wants to make sure that the aggregate P&L, the profit and loss of the two positions combined, that means his original position and the hedge position, he wants to make sure that the variance of this P&L is as low as possible. That means his objective function is to minimize the variance of the original plus the hedge position combined. Okay. Now let's start on a very simple note, and in this simple world, let's ignore the daily settlement feature. Okay. So in that sense, let's assume that there is actually kind of no difference between futures and forwards. So in this very simple world, what I'm determining is this number of forward contracts required to minimize my total P&L variance. Okay. If daily settlement is ignored, it means that in terms of the variables that we'll be working with, these are changes in, let's say, the price of the asset, let's call it delta S, changes in the futures quote, let's call it delta F. Both of these, remember, are over the entire life of the hedge. Okay, it's delta S and delta F over the entire life of the hedge. What we can do is that with this objective function in mind, we can work out what should be the number of futures contracts that I should be working with. And this is the simple formula to determine that number. Okay. This formula, it tells me that the number of contracts required is equal to the correlation between delta S and delta F, that times the ratio of the standard deviations respectively of delta S and delta F, that times the ratio of the quantity of my core position, which was this guy, the Q units, and the contract size of one futures contract. Okay, so here I'm using futures and forwards interchangeably. I'm assuming there's no difference between the two. Okay, but it's just that I'm labeling this number as forward because in determining this number, I am ignoring the impact of daily settlement. Now, if you were to now incorporate daily settlement, you will have to do some kind of a paradigm shift. Instead of working with changes delta S and delta F that happen over the entire life of the hedge, let's work with changes that happen over the time span of a single day. Okay, why is that so? Because when I talk about the daily settlement feature, then it's like I am opening and closing futures based hedges on a daily basis. Okay, so therefore, if I were to switch to a daily based change in S and F, what I can do is that I can express these daily changes to be very simply equal to the product of the level at which I start at the beginning of the day let that be S for the case of determining this delta S, that times some kind of a daily return. Okay, so delta S daily therefore will be S at the beginning of the day, that times daily return for S. Delta F for 1 day time span will be equal to F at the beginning of the day, that times the return for a day, a daily return expressed for F. Okay, if I were to do this, the new random variables which I'll be working with are these daily returns, and therefore when I talk about correlations and when I talk about standard deviations, these refer to returns now. They don't refer to delta S and delta F. Okay. Now, if you were to stick with the same objective function, that means minimizing the variance of the PNL, but this time try and minimize it over the time span of a single day, the new formula which you arrive at for the number of contracts required is very similar to the formula which we had arrived at in this very simple case. The new formula basically looks something like this. It's the number of, this time I've labeled it as futures, contracts required, again is equal to correlation, that times a ratio of standard deviations, that times a ratio of quantities, but there is an additional ratio also sitting here, and this is the ratio of the S, the spot price, and the F, the futures quote. Okay. What I can do is that I can combine the quantity and the price. Price times quantity gives me the dollar value, and hence write the number of futures contracts required to be equal to the correlation times the ratio of standard deviations, this times the ratio of this time the dollar value of my core position to the dollar value of a single futures contract. So in terms of remembering what the daily settlement feature did, you have to remember three things. First, it made us switch from delta S delta F to instead RS RF, and hence the rho, the sigma S and the sigma F, these now refer to RS and RF. That's the first change. The second change is that instead of working with the ratio of quantities as we had in the case of the simple forwards kind of hedge, we are now working with a ratio of dollar values. Okay, that's the second thing to note. The third thing to note, and that's a very important difference, is that in the previous very simple case, everything that went into determining the number of contracts required was more like a constant. It did not change from one day to another. So this was the formula before without the S by F. In the new world, which does include the impact of daily settlement, we are talking about a ratio of dollar values, something which changes on a daily basis. Therefore, we have moved from something like a static hedge in a world where daily settlement was not accounted for to more of a hedge which needs to be rebalanced regularly. Okay. Now, let's do this. Let's take a look at this part of the formula, these three terms. So correlation times ratio of standard deviations times the ratio of Qs. Acknowledge this fact that these three, they combine to give you as close as possible the number which we had in the case of no daily settlement case. It's correlation times ratio of standard deviations times ratio of quantities. So approximately speaking, I can say that the number with daily settlement is equal to the number without daily settlement, that times S over F. This S over F, I can call it a tail factor. If I were to make a very simplifying assumption, and that is the assumption that the asset to which my hedger was originally exposed to is the same asset which my futures are defined on, then I can write down the F, theoretically speaking, to be equal to S times e to the power R times the residual time left. Okay, so therefore it tells me that S over F is basically e to the power minus R times the residual time, and therefore if I were to substitute this back into this formula, it tells me that the number of contracts required with daily settlement is equal to the number of contracts without daily settlement, that times a tail factor which I have now expressed more or less like a discount factor. Okay, it's like e to the power minus r times t. This tells me that the importance of the tail factor, something which got introduced when we tried to get this daily settlement feature in, the impact of this factor depends on two things. It depends on interest rates and it depends on the remaining time. It depends on how long dated my futures are. Okay? So let's, based on this notion, derive another kind of way you can interpret this tail factor, and that is, if I am talking about a long futures based hedge, if the futures price go up, I, as the hedger who is sitting on this long futures position as my hedge, stand to gain. If daily settlement is allowed, these gains come to my margin account rather immediately. My margin account, it's an interest bearing account. So the gains which I make, preferably if they are early gains, these gains will earn interest. Once I add on this interest layer on top of the gains which my hedge is making for me, the total gain which I make out of my hedge becomes bigger, becomes greater, because of the fact that I have included this daily settlement feature and I have included, because of this feature, an extra layer of interest income. Okay. Now, if I was working with this many number of contracts as my hedge, and if daily settlement was allowed, I'll be over hedging. Okay, so therefore, to avoid over hedging, what we've done here is that we have multiplied this number by some kind of a discount factor. That means we have computed something like a present value. We are then allowing the daily settlement to work its magic. We are allowing the interest income to work its magic, so that even if we work with a hedge which is slightly lower than the case of no daily settlement, we are understanding this fact that the income layer will come in and make our total gain from the hedge equal to the case where daily settlement was not present. Okay, so that's the rationale behind taking like a present value, in the hope that the income which comes from daily settlement will kind of cover things up. Okay, so this was a quick look at this concept of tailing the hedge.